Hello, as you can see from the title, in this video I'm going to be building a small, modern / eco-inspired home. And the reason I put inspired in there is I'm not sure if it adheres really well to either of those styles specifically. It's not really an ultra modern build, and really the eco aspects are more of the fact that it's built in the eco lifestyle world, and that I also used a bunch of the furniture from that pack. I had an idea of what I wanted to do for the outside, but I kind of just went for it when it came to the interior design. I had an idea to do the kind of framing that you can see in the front and the back, which creates some dimension. It's also, I called it a small home because it's on the smaller side, but it doesn't actually meet any of the requirements from the tiny living pack, which I did try to do originally, but I really wanted a porch in the front and the back, and that takes up way too many tiles, so I quickly was over the tile requirement when I was building. I definitely could have sacrificed some of the size, or like I said, the porches that I added, but I think it would have really affected the way the build looked, and I definitely had a vision for what I wanted the outside to look like. I think I used a photo off of Pinterest, but I have no idea where it is. I just saw it once, and then I kind of just recreated whatever image was in my head. For the color scheme, I went for a lot of black, a lot of that really warm orangey toned wood, which is one of my favorites, and then, which I guess is pretty modern. And then to make the build more lively, I threw in a lot of other colors with the plants and the decorations and stuff like that. I didn't keep that monochrome like I did with the rest of the build. I have to say, I think Eco Lifestyle is genuinely one of my favorite packs in the game, at least one of the expansion packs. It's got really good furniture in my opinion, and I think there's a lot of gameplay to it, even though I haven't really used it in a while. But the whole eco footprint thing, there's a bunch of like functional objects like the candle maker, there's the one with the insects, and there's the machine to craft your own furniture. I think there's a few others, but I'm having a little trouble remembering them. But all in all, I find myself using stuff from this pack specifically like a lot. I really like the back of this build. I didn't have enough room to put a pool in, but I did do a hot tub, and I kind of surrounded it with a porch and some lounge chairs. But I just really like the split leveling where it's not all flat in the back. I think it looks a lot more interesting. I added my own pillars and then those like wooden slats from Eco Lifestyle for like more privacy on that porch. And then I also end up adding just some gardening stuff, a grill, and some tables and chairs for seating. The last two builds that I have done have both been on Bloxburg, so it was kind of fun to build in Sims again. It goes so much faster since I'm not having to build all of the furniture custom. I do still take a while to decorate, but it also helps you don't have to individually recolor every item. Everything just has swatches instead. That's why I feel like I'm never going to give up one game or the other, because they both have different aspects of them that I really like. Like, of course, some things about Sims drive me crazy, and I wish that I could modify things more or make my own swatches. But I like the plants in this game. I like the roofing system, the foundations that are customizable. Ever since they added platforms, that was huge. I'll probably be going back and forth a lot between those two games. I probably won't be doing as much with House Flipper, or I guess House Flipper 2, just because I don't build on there quite as much. It is, like I said, like it's a totally different experience playing different building games, and there's different things that I like about each of them, but it's not quite the same for me as Bloxburg or Sims. The hyper-realism is really cool, but when I'm in sandbox mode, I just tend to get burnt out before I can actually finish any of the builds on there. So yeah, that's just kind of how I feel towards different building games, and probably how much I will be posting them on my channel. I had been hoping to post more regularly, but I was away for 2 weeks. I was visiting some family, which it was basically like a vacation. I just like went out of the house, did fun things the whole time. I was not at my computer recording footage for videos. Before I left though, I did start working on a new Bloxburg build, but it's a bit ambitious for me. Like I said, I've been doing small buildings for the past few videos so that I can actually finish them and make videos about them, but I'd had this very specific idea for a long time, something that I really wanted to do, but it's just taking me a little longer than I expected. So this Sims build took me much less time. I was able to just finish this, and I will go back to that Bloxburg build and try to get that out as soon as I can. I'm someone who switches between games a lot, so I don't really want to pressure myself to finish a specific build. I kind of just want to put out whatever I'm feeling at the time. So it seems like I'm in a bit of a Sims phase. So there might be a few more Sims videos before I put out another Bloxburg video. I also have some kind of exciting news, which I think this would be exciting for anyone, but I brought home a dog, which was not part of the plan when I went to visit family. But a family member adopted the dog a couple years ago, I think, and it just wasn't going well. They really hadn't bothered to train them, and they were gonna take her back, which I just couldn't handle. Like, that's so sad. So I took her back with me. Her name is Ivy, and she's like a terrier mix. She's quite a small dog. But I have been working hard to potty train her over these last few weeks, and it's been a bit of a challenge, but I think it was the right decision, and she's so cute. She just sleeps next to me on my bed all day. She rolls over on her belly, wants belly rubs. It's so cute. I am such an animal lover. I already, well, they're not mine, but I live with a dog and 2 cats, so we already had quite a few animals, but like the more the better, right? I think she's so happy because she just gets so much attention from me, and she didn't really get much attention in her old house, so she's really living the life here. Anyways, with that side note, let me talk a little bit more about the build. So like I said, besides the decorations, it's pretty monochrome with the black and that brown color. I feel like I always use those modular sofas from the interior decorator pack, but they're so good. All the stuff from that pack has great swatches. The fact that I can put it in any shape I want, it's just so easy to use. I really like the floor plan of this build. I think I was able to fit a lot in the small space. I definitely enjoy doing smaller builds. They're almost easier for me, like trying to fit things in, than trying to fill up a larger space. And then I just feel like they're more cozy that way. I know in real life it might kind of be a pain. I'm sure you would be tripping over things, banging your shin into tables and stuff. But it's The Sims. As long as they can get to everything, you know, it's fine. I did test this build and it should work properly. Your Sims should be able to get to everything and use it just fine. I honestly forgot about those like cabinets, the modular cabinets in the interior decorator set, but they are so useful. Like you can use them, as you can see, I used them above the kitchen as kitchen cabinets. I also used them as a TV stand, or like a console table. So they're really versatile and I feel like you can use them in so many ways, and I kind of just forgot about them because they're not really in the like furniture categories that I usually click on. I also made a little bit of a mistake when I was doing the kitchen, and I kind of forgot something kind of important, which would be the stove. Yeah, I did not put a stove or an oven in here, and I did not notice until I was almost done with the build, which was unfortunate because I really wanted the coffee pot, but I could not fit that because then there was no functional counter for Sims to chop things on. So that was a little annoying. I really like this little table that I put by the door. I can't remember what I used for it. I know the top part is from Eco Lifestyle, and then there's some like cubbies that I placed underneath that are from a completely different pack. I don't remember what that is, but I will put that on screen if you are curious. The one unfortunate thing about this build, and it's kind of been happening a lot lately with my builds, is that they have so many packs in them, including like all of the kits, which I know is not great because not everyone can afford all the packs. They're extremely overpriced and there is so many of them. But I really enjoy building. I bought the packs, most of them, if not all the ones that I could get on sale, I got on sale. But the kits you can't, so I had to buy those all full price, obviously. But I really like decorating, so if I'm not doing specifically like a base game build or something like that, I kind of just use whatever I want to because I enjoy building that way. I like having a lot of options and I really enjoy cluttering. So unfortunately, there is a ton of packs in this build, and I'm sorry about that. I will do another build in the future that is either limited to a couple packs, or I might also do another base game build in the future. Building in the base game isn't my favorite since it's super limited, but I understand that a bunch of people only have the base game and it's nice to find quality builds on the gallery for that. So I'm definitely still up for making some base game builds if y'all want them. I really like the colors in the bathroom. They're a little bit different from the rest of the house. There's some more like deep blues, kind of reddish? A reddish pink color, I think, like a dark reddish pink, and some green. The rest of the house, I kind of went for, I think, lighter blues, lighter greens, stuff like that. So it's a bit different in here. I like when there's a similar vibe throughout the house, but maybe there's slightly different color palettes. When I started making this bathroom, I thought I had a lot of space, and then I started laying things out and I realized I didn't really have much room for stuff, but there is 2 sinks, a shower, a bathtub, and a toilet, so pretty much fit everything in there nicely. One thing that I am super picky about, and I think I mentioned this before, is lighting. So I use a lot of mods in my builds. I have them turned off when I was building this, but I do use a ton of mods. I don't even know, like 30 gigabytes or something crazy of custom content and mods. But one of them apparently is like a color wheel for the lighting. I genuinely thought that was just in the game, but I should have known, right? Like it's too good of an idea to be in the game. Of course it's a mod, right? But I didn't realize that until I was trying to fix the lighting and I was like, where are all my options? So I had to enable mods, start up the whole game again, and then fix that, which was really, really fun. But I usually go for like an orangey kind of color, maybe even towards like pink. As long as you don't make it super saturated, it makes the lighting really nice in the home, in my opinion. I am not a fan of cool lighting. I think it makes it look really dreary in my opinion, whereas the warm lighting is very lively, inviting, you know, that kind of vibe. I was hoping the bed was going to function like this, but I tried so many times and my Sims could not get through. I wasn't even sure what the issue was because I had pushed things so far back into the wall and my Sim still couldn't make it. But apparently, maybe it was a combination. Maybe she couldn't get through the plant or the little cabinet in the corner, but I had to scoot those way back, which I don't like very much. I don't love when all the furniture is flat against the walls. I think it looks a lot better when some of it is like diagonal, especially in the corners. But for functionality's sake, I did have to put it all the way against the wall. So if you download this build, or I think also in the screenshots, it's going to look like that. One thing I used to do is clutter my desks like a lot. I used to pull the table out and then just like alt place everything, but I've had a lot of issues when I went to go play with it, my Sims not being able to use the computer, so I just put them on like the pre-made slots on the desk, and it did work when I tried it, so hopefully it continues to function. I just know I've personally had some issues with that. It's possible it's a mod, but I I don't think there's any conflict there. This video is going to be a bit shorter since the build's a lot smaller and it just doesn't take me as much time to build in Sims as it does in Bloxburg. I really like how this build came out. I love all of the clutter and the colors, so hopefully you do too. If anyone has any requests for future builds or videos, you can go ahead and leave me a comment. You can do that either on YouTube or TikTok. I will see it either way. Also, if you are interested in putting this build in your own game, you can go ahead and download it on the Sims Gallery. It's already up on my profile and my ID is gemhard03. My ID and the name of the build will both be in the description. But with that, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching and hopefully I will see you in the next one.